Okay. What does it mean to be American?
What does it mean to be American?
To you, what do you think being American means? It could be anything.
It could be anything. Like
Right.
any other.
Or, I mean, you don't have to say a correct answer, but like when you think American, what does it mean?
Working hard.
Okay. Okay, how did your ethnic identity, your identity related to your ethnicity, Algerian, or just, you know what ethnicity means, right?
Yeah.
How did your ethnic identity change after you immigrated to the U.S.?
It didn't change it much.
No, why not?
Because a human being are like a plant. When you're born somewhere, that's what it is.
Okay. Would you feel more at home in the U.S. or your country of origin?
Well, now I live here for a long time. I still feel home here.
Okay. Have you ever been discriminated against because you're an immigrant?
I don't remember if I did. I don't take it personal.
Do you remember people like being racist towards you because you're or like 9/11?
There is a racism in America, of course there is. Either you have an accent, or you have a color, or you have there is a program where have to make people racist.
Do you think white people experience racism?
Yeah, they sit with the black people.
Okay, that's good. Okay, in your eyes, what does it mean to be American?
The American. So when I came to California, I didn't plan on staying. And then I enjoyed it so much here that I decided to stay. It was outgoing, it's friendly, it's sunny, it's healthy. It was a different atmosphere from where I grew up, where it was cold, dark. It was hard to get ahead of yourself. It was a very different way of living.
Where'd you come from?
Southeast of England, Kent, down on the coast near Dover.
Okay. In your eyes, how did your ethnic identity change after you immigrated to the U.S.?
Well, I'm a white immigrant, so obviously I could mix in with Americans quite easily, but I just had an accent. So I didn't think there was much of a race difference for the white people being from another country, where if I had been a person of color, I think it would have been different coming into this country.
Do you think your identity as an English woman has changed though? Do you feel...
I feel coming to the States, I have experienced a lot more than just being in a little country. I've been exposed to a lot more different things like ethnicity. I mean, I grew up in a small town where we had 2 black people. I wasn't experienced to seeing the different cultures we have here. We didn't know about Mexican food. We didn't know about different things, where I think over the years, I've really been able to learn more about everything else which is in the country.
That makes sense.
So.
Okay. Would you feel more at home in the U.S. or your country of origin?
So, my family is in England and my family is in the US. When I go back to England, I switch over to being British. It's just, that's where my family is. And when I'm in America, I feel my family is in America. I feel more comfortable being in the US. I think we have has more to offer, obviously, and I spend a lot more time outside and doing a lot more things. And I do a lot more stuff here, where I think in England I'd be sort of set in my ways not to do as much.
So, which do you feel more at home?
It's hard because I feel at home when I'm in England, and I feel at home when I'm in the US. So I mean, I could live. So if I was to be a person who could live in both countries and afford to live in both countries, I would say both make me feel comfortable and both make me want to live in both of these countries. But because my husband and my children live in the US, I'm always going to come back to the US. If my kids lived when they lived in England, maybe I'd go back to England. But if I think it's 25% England, 75% America. So I think America will win because that's where my home base is, my family is, my job is, and my life is. And I think I enjoy the life here.
That makes sense. Yeah, you probably spend more time here too.
I spend more time here, yeah.
Okay. Have you ever felt discriminated against because you're an immigrant?
Do I feel? Do people look at me with because I have an accent and do I feel intimidated? No, I don't. But it's interesting because I mean I've been in a situation where I was in line at Great America, and somebody said to me, "Oh, you're only saying this because somebody cut up the line," and I was with some people, and the black person says to me, "Oh, you're only saying something because I'm black." I said, "No, if you're pink, yellow, green, or orange, I would still say you're cutting the line." It shouldn't be about like what your ethnicity is. It should be about your behavior.
Interesting. That's kind of a reverse. Sounds like you got like someone accusing you of discriminating them.
Yes.
Okay. That's interesting.
I think people of color versus people of let me say this like so I'm an immigrant and I'm white. I think we all said the same thing earlier. And if you're an immigrant and you're black, or if you're an immigrant or you're from a different country and you have a skin color of different, I think you can be picked on because people can't tell until you speak where you're from. I think if I was to speak, so people don't know that I'm English until I speak. Where from England, obviously, and if if they judge people on color, a person because there's people from England who have color on their skin, obviously, but that. But I think they judge them before they've even spoken. So it's like we have a friend, he's African American. He went to England and he's discriminated upon from white people because he's American and he's black. And I think it was more about him being black than it was about him being American. Honestly, so it can be interesting. I think I was never discriminated about being English, and I think people with accents and women being with accents from a different country, I think they are more interesting to people. I think people tend to talk to you if you're from a different country and you're white. And if you're black or you're from another country and you're black, I think they don't talk to you because they just don't know how to deal with that part of their uncomfortable social side of that. But I think as a woman, I think it's easier to be let in than it is a man. Because
you're already a minority.
Yeah, I think people will talk to women with accents because they think, "Oh, she's got an accent. It's so cute."
Oh, yeah.
That is part of it. You know, if you were to go to England as an American and you were in a pub in the pub and you're talking, people would say, "Oh, you're from another country. Where are you from?"
Exotic.
Yeah, it sounds exotic. There you go. That's another way to put it. You're exotic. But if you're really dark black, would they do the same thing, or would they feel uncomfortable? Or if you're of darker skin, don't know.